Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Nurhan Magdi from Al-Khaba Azhar School. We start previous with primary 6 curriculum. We will continue with concept 1, lesson 1. Lesson 1 about heat and the weather change. This picture differentiate between clear and bright sky and cloudy and rainy sky. What are the causes that lead to this change in the weather? The density of cold and dry air is more than that of hot and humid air. When a part of air is heated by the sun, it becomes hot and humid. The hot and humid air meet the cold and dry air. The hot air rises. As the hot air rises, it becomes colder, and this coldness causes water vapor in hot air to condense, then the air falls, like the previous concepts in convection current. How does meteorologist predict what the weather will be? Meteorologists depend on some instruments to collect data and study changes of weather for long periods of time that help him to predict what weather will be. Deserts receive about 250 millimeters of rain per year, and this represents the least amount of rain compared to all other biomes or all other ecosystems. The extreme hot and dry climate of deserts make farming difficult, so farmers had to adapt this climate and work to develop some way to benefit from the small amount of water. Farmers face a challenge in farming the deserts. Give reason because more water evaporates than that falls by precipitation. Improving the soil of deserts, population growth causes more people to live in desert, so farmers use new way to make the soil of dry deserts fertile and fertile. For example, they improve the soil quality, they plant crops that are able to grow in the hot climate and low fertilized soil. They use new way to irrigate crops such as raising water. They use wind and the sun to power their farms in the desert with wind turbines or solar energy. Mountain ranges at coastal region often have two sides, a wet side that faces the coast, a dry side that is away from the coast. Now we will describe a process that causes a phenomenon on both sides of coastal mountain ranges known as rain shadow. Rain shadow phenomena at the wet side that faces the coast, when warm and humid air faces the side mountain range, so this air rises and cools. Water vapor in the cold air condenses, so the precipitation occurs. At the dry side, that is away from the coast, the air descends and becomes warm, so this air dries the land of this side. Changes in temperature. The following table show comparison between the properties of the atmosphere at the top of mountain with the properties of atmosphere at the bottom of mountain. The atmospheric pressure of the bottom of mountain is high. The atmospheric pressure at the top of mountain is low. The air temperature at the bottom of the mountain is high. The air temperature at the bottom of mountain is low. The air density at the bottom of the mountain is high. The air density at the bottom of mountain is low. From the previous table, we can conclude that the atmospheric pressure, air pressure, and air temperature, air density decreases as we go from the bottom of mountains to its top. Lesson 2, Meteorology. It is the science of studying and predicting the weather. Meteorologists, the scientists, have uses variety of tools and instruments to study and forecast weather. Some instruments are designed to measure and predict the weather conditions, such as thermometers that measure temperature by thermometer. Barometer that measures the atmospheric pressure. Atmosphere is the amount of force that air exerts on its surrounding. It is the weight of the air above a certain area. Atmospheric pressure is the amount of force the air exerts on its surrounding, and it's the weight of the air above the certain area. Meteorologists use some tools like satellites, airplanes, and weather balloons to carry measuring instruments high into the atmosphere to measure conditions of weather from different altitudes. Satellites and the weather station have devices designed to transmit data from the satellites or station to meteorologists. Meteorologists try to collect a lot of data about air temperature, atmospheric pressure, winds, precipitation, humidity, and other weather conditions. Humidity is the measure of how much water vapor is present in the air. Then, at, then meteorologists analyzing the data. Meteorologists usually use weather maps to collect data from different places and over short period of time, so that they can analyze this data. Mapping data like air temperature, atmospheric pressure, and humidity allow meteorologists to see the important weather conditions, such as the movement of air. Putting it all together. It is the next step. It's the next step after analyzing the data. Putting it all together, collection and analyzing data about the atmosphere is just one part of predicting the weather. Meteorologists also needed to absorb some other factors that affect the atmosphere, such as landforms. Meteorologists use complex computer models to predict how these different factors will interact. Mapping data or mapping measurements mean representing data on a map. Weather forecasts can be uncertain for next days or weeks, where some small unexpected changes in wind, air temperature, or moisture in air can affect next week's weather. Sometimes unexpected and quickly changes happen in the weather condition that makes meteorologists couldn't predict the weather of next day. The unequal of heating. In this activity, we will do an experiment to collect data that show difference in the effect of thermal energy from the sun on land and water, and how this difference may impact air temperature in a certain area. Lamp to thermometer, stopwatch, equal amount of sand and water in 2 beakers. Step, place a thermometer in each beaker, then put a lamp at about 10 centimeters from the top of both beakers. Turn on the reading lamp and record the temperature of each beaker every minute for turn on the reading lamp and record the temperature of each beaker every minute for 10 minutes. Turn off the reading lamp and record the temperature of each beaker every minute for 10 minutes. Observation. Sand is heated up faster than water. Sand is cooled off faster than water. The previous experiments show what happens in different Earth's environments, where when the lamp is on, it stimulates daylight. When the lamp is off, it stimulates in night. So the effect of thermal energy of the sun on land differs from that on water, and this causes the change of air temperature above land or water areas on the Earth's surface. Lesson 3. You have learned that the changes of the air temperature affect the way that air moves. Example, when air is heated, it expands as its molecules spread out away from each other, so the hot air becomes less dense and moves up. When air is cooled, it contracts as its molecules comes close to each other, so the cooled air becomes more dense and moves down. Give reason. Hot air moves up while cool air moves down because hot air is less denser than cool air like convection current. In this activity, we will do two experiments that show what happens when less dense warm air rises and replaced by more dense cold air. The tools to this experiment: a light bulb, powder, a paper spiral with a thread. First experiment: sprinkle powder over a cool light bulb. Turn it off light bulb. When the light bulb is off, the powder spreads and interferes with the cooler and more dense air around the light bulb. Turn on the light bulb, wait 2 minutes to heat up, then sprinkle powder again over the hot light bulb. When the light bulb is on, the powder rises above the light bulb because the light bulb in the case releases heat which causes the air above it to rise and carry the powder with it. Second experiment: hold the paper spiral over a cool light bulb, turn it off light bulb. When the light bulb is off, the paper spiral doesn't spin. That shows that the air around the paper spiral don't move. Turn on light bulb, wait 2 minutes to heat up, then hold the paper spiral over the hot light bulb. When light bulb is on, the paper spiral spins because the air around the paper spiral expands and become hot, so the air molecules becomes less dense and moved upward, while the cooler and more dense molecules moved downward, which creating a convection current that makes the paper spiral spins without stopping. General conclusion: from the previous two experiments, we can conclude that the movement of air depends on its temperature, where warm air rises up, cold air flows down and replaces the warm air. Note: the vertical movement of air, up and down movement, is called air current. The horizontal movement of air, left and right movement, is called wind. The differences of air temperature of areas that are close to each other on Earth's effect: the speed of air current, the speed of wind, the direction of wind movement. Anemometer, the measure of the wind speed. Weather reader that detects the intensity and speed of precipitation, tracks thousands thunderstorm and hurricanes. Rain judge that measures the amount of rain in a certain area, and this picture to all of tools. Snow is formed when the air is clouds is cold enough to change the water droplets into ice crystals that fall to Earth's surface in the form of snow, which is known as snowfall. How precipitation occurs: when small water droplets are formed in a cloud, the air can hold them up, but as water vapor continues to condense, the droplets become bigger and heavier. Then gravity pulls these big and heavy water droplets towards the ground, so the precipitation occurs. Note: remember that we have studied another weather forecasting tool like thermometer and barometer. Thermometer that measures the temperature, barometer that measures the atmospheric pressure. Lesson 4: the effect of too much or little precipitation. The too much or too little rain can change ecosystem and may cause damaging of buildings and agriculture system, injuries and deaths. The occurrence extreme weather phenomena such as drought and flood. Harms of drought. Drought is the shortage of water that is available for drinking, growing crops, farming animals, and industry. Droughts occur when an area is affected by dry weather for a long period of time due to extreme hot temperatures, where there is not enough water for people, plants, and animals. Flood Flood, it is increase in the flow of water over the edge of river bank and onto the land around the river. Floods occur due to the increase in the rate of rainfall that happens every 2 years, causes the river water flow over the edge of the river bank and onto the land around the river. The sudden melting of snow and ice over region. Note every few decades very extreme floods occur causing damages and loss of life. Flood is more danger if the land around the flood is frozen and cannot absorb the weight. Damaging of buildings dry by moving or breaking them, death of people and animals, harming of economy. Advantage of flood, some ecosystems depend on floods such as ecosystem along the Nile. Sandstorm is called dust storm. Sandstorm occurs when very strong winds blow up sand or dust or both of them from a dry area such as deserts. We can easily see sandstorms as they extend for several kilometers long and its height may reach hundreds of meters. Harms of sandstorm: dust reduces the visibility during driving cars. Dust accumulates on solar panels so they stop generating energy. Dust fills up irrigation canal so the water quality decreases. Dust damages the plane engines. Dust harms the human eyes and respiratory system. Now we finish concept 2. Thank you for listening.